Ravi, thank you very much for your very warm welcome, and may I extend my personal congratulations to you on your appointment as Sri Lanka's Minister for Foreign Affairs, and I look forward to working closely with you as we enhance this already strong friendship and partnership. It is indeed a milestone year, 70 years since diplomatic relations were established between Australia and Sri Lanka. And over that period, we have been firm and consistent friends. Through good times and bad times, Australia has supported Sri Lanka in its efforts to be a more peaceful and more prosperous country, notwithstanding the extraordinary challenges that you have faced from time to time. Our 70th year of diplomatic relations was marked by high-level visits. Your President, your Prime Minister, your Deputy Foreign Minister were all very welcome in Australia. And we spoke earlier about the number of Sri Lankans or people living in Australia of Sri Lankan heritage, and our most recent census tells us that it is about 170,000. So what an extraordinary building block for a friendship between two nations, that the diaspora in Australia is so strong and vibrant and makes such a significant contribution to our society. Australia is one of the most successful multicultural nations on earth, and we have welcomed people from all over the world who have integrated into our community, and we are delighted that so many Sri Lankans have found a home in Australia. But the diaspora is important for your ongoing peace, prosperity and economic growth. And we certainly encourage the Sri Lankan diaspora in Australia to reach out to the government of Sri Lanka, to the people of Sri Lanka, and do what they can to contribute to your peace and prosperity. Our educational links are long-standing. We welcomed to Australia many Sri Lankans under the Colombo Plan of the 1950s and 1960s. In fact, in the last 50 years, we believe that about 30,000 Sri Lankans have gained an Australian qualification. And they are now the scientists, the researchers, the community leaders, the politicians, the business leaders here in Sri Lanka. We borrowed the name Colombo Plan from you with your permission, and in 2014 we commenced what we call the new Colombo Plan, whereby we send, with government support, Australian undergraduates to live and study and undertake work experience in countries in our region. And from 2015 to the end of this year, 300 Australian students will have lived and studied in Sri Lanka under the new Colombo Plan. So this student exchange, given that there are about 7,500 or 7,600 Sri Lankan students currently enrolled in Australia, this student exchange will ensure that this connection, this friendship endures. We had a very positive discussion about our areas of cooperation, from science and health and education to defence, security, combating transnational crime, counter-terrorism. We deeply appreciate your support in combating people smuggling. And together, Australia and Sri Lanka have cooperated in terms of maritime security. We're both members of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, and we work together with other Indian Ocean Rim countries to ensure that this is a peaceful and stable and secure region. We couldn't do it without Sri Lanka's involvement and input. We also discussed the reconciliation process here in Sri Lanka, and Australia will continue to offer constructive support to the government of Sri Lanka as you implement the reconciliation agenda in all its different manifestations. We encourage you because we know that it will be in the long-term interests of this country. The long-term peace and prosperity will depend upon a successful implementation of the reconciliation process in terms of the reconstruction work that needs to be done, the political reforms, reforms in relation to land ownership and the like. And we are there to assist, support, advise, share experiences. And we had a very positive and constructive discussion in that regard. We are also determined to ensure that our economic partnership continues to grow. There is boundless opportunity for a growing economy in Sri Lanka to work more closely with Australia. Australia is the 13th largest economy in the world. We're in our 26th consecutive year of economic growth. And we know that there are many Australian businesses, many Australian firms who are keen to invest in Sri Lanka, and we will work together to ensure that there's increased trade and investment between our two countries across a diverse range of areas. Tourism is a huge potential, and we welcome a direct flight Colombo-Melbourne. I come from Perth. I'm also looking for a direct flight Colombo-Perth because I would visit this beautiful city more often if that were the case. So I encourage our airlines to look into greater connectivity between Australia and Sri Lanka. And I know that many Australian tourists, in fact 75,000 Australians last year, came to Sri Lanka as tourists and had a wonderful experience. So it's been a most productive meeting. I'm looking forward to a working dinner this evening and also to meeting the President and the Prime Minister tomorrow. This is an important relationship in our region. It's an important relationship for our two peoples, and one which will surely endure as we share values and increasingly align our outlook. We are democracies, we are committed to the rule of law, we're committed to free people, free markets, and long may this friendship, this partnership prosper and flourish. Thank you, Ravi, for your very warm welcome to me and my delegation.